that sold me something on eBay that said, hey, it was a handwritten note from a 12-year-old, that said, thank you very much for your purchase. We appreciate it. And it reminded me of when I was 10 years old, except I didn't have eBay and didn't have all these options to buy singles online. So it was refreshing. So it just shows you kind of all generations are
the hobby's exploding and the happiness is absurd. Dustin, get in here. Let's tell, Dustin, Dustin, how much happiness has getting into collecting Pokemon and flipping Pokemon been for you?
Hey, sports card collectors and investors, welcome to Saturday. We have made it to the weekend. Thanks very much for joining me today. It's hot outside here, so today I'm going to be covering 4 ice cold sports cards and kind of the players essentially. We'll talk through it. I'm interested in hearing kind of your thoughts on these guys, and we will get started. First off, if you are not a subscriber yet, please subscribe. We have over 175 sports card investing, collectibles investing type videos on the channel. We're going to be doing a lot more collaborations, and my first subscriber spotlight video is going to go off. What the plan is for it to go off tomorrow. It's going to be live. It's my first time hosting one. I've been on a few, but I have not hosted one yet, so I'm excited to do that. And we will see how it goes. I'm not going to announce the guest yet, but you'll see it if you subscribe. You'll see it as a premiere that's going to happen tomorrow. I believe I'll set it up like that, and we will get going. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and get started talking about the 4 players. The first one I want to hit on is Nick Foles. So Nick Foles is a guy that not that long ago, 2-3 years ago are we talking, was literally on top of the NFL football world as winning the Super Bowl with the Philadelphia Eagles. And to be very honest with you, I remember watching that game and thinking the Patriots were gonna get them. I mean, I did not think that the Eagles were going to be able to pull it out. Very back and forth game. But the Eagles, the thing that was amazing is that the Pats could not stop the Eagles. Nick Foles and Peterson called an amazing game. They had the famous kind of the trick plays, to score. It was just an incredible Super Bowl, and I just didn't think it was going to happen like that. With Tom Brady and the Pats, it's hard to bet against them unless they're playing against NFC East teams, I guess. Between the Giants and the Eagles, I think that pretty much sums up their Super Bowl losses. So it was, wild. But anyway, it's just amazing how fast these guys can fall. I mean, you look at, Foles, he's on top of the world with the Eagles. They decide they're going to go with Wentz, which makes sense. He's kind of their young franchise QB that they gave up a lot of draft capital for him, and they decided to go with Wentz. Foles goes to Jacksonville on a good-sized contract, and he gets injured. And then he never gets that starting job back from Gardner Minshew, and now he has landed on the Bears. And the thing that's just amazing about this guy with Foles is, I'm just trying to figure out, I mean, he's obviously got talent. You don't win a Super Bowl and, do it in the fashion that he did without having talent. It's just we haven't seen the consistency. He's played on a bunch of different teams, and I'm just wondering if Peterson was kind of that perfect system for him in Philly. And I'm wondering that too with the Bears. Nagy, the coach of the Bears, he also has, a lot of trick plays and a lot of, he has a diverse offense to where he's doing a lot of different things, and maybe that will play into Nick Foles' strengths. We'll have to see. He's going to be up against Chase Daniel and Mitch Trubisky, which I can tell you firsthand as a New Orleans Saints fan, Chase Daniel is not a franchise quarterback. He's not a starting quarterback in the NFL. He is a good fill-in. He is a good backup. He's a good character guy, probably a good locker room guy. But he's not the guy. So my feeling is if Foles can put something together, he has a very legitimate shot to start there in Chicago. And so we'll have to just kind of keep tabs on that and see. I did take a look at his rookie cards. They're very inexpensive for obvious reasons. I mean, he just hasn't been talked about. He's been injured. He's on a brand new team. He's competing against 2 other guys to start that have also started in the league. So, uphill battle for Nick Foles, but man, you talk about a fall from grace for him, and just interested to follow his career. I really like him as an individual. I think he's just a good guy, so I would like to see good things for him. So we'll have to see what happens with Nick Foles here moving forward. Okay, next guy on my list is one that probably would be a little shocking for some, and I've got Aaron Gordon for the Orlando Magic. Now, obviously the guy has a ton of potential. He's an athlete. He's a very good player, and if you look at his stats, from a stats perspective, you're probably wondering, like, why is he on this list? And as I kind of dug a little bit deeper, did some more research, basically the knock on Gordon was he has the fourth lowest shooting percentage in the NBA. And it's based on, I believe, 700 attempts, or there's a certain amount of attempts that I saw that stat based on. So for the amount of shooting that he's doing, his field goal percentage is low. And so I guess kind of the knock is that the guy's got all the potential in the world, but he's just not quite performing up to par. Now, maybe there are reasons for that I'm not aware of. And please comment, if there's things, about that Magic team, or maybe it's an unfair type of advantage or an unfair position that he's been put in with the Magic. Let me know that, because I haven't been following the Orlando Magic, to really know kind of that team. But it's just kind of, it struck me as, him, being a very good player, but just kind of maybe not performing up to those levels. And if you look at, he has base Prism cards that are going for $5 to $7 each, with Prism being the premier set, the one that basketball fans are looking for. I just felt like that was fairly low for a player that, he's not a superstar, but he's not, he's fairly high profile. There has been a lot of talk about him just not really being as much of a fit on the Orlando Magic, and there's a lot of trade rumors surrounding him in the offseason, which would be interesting. I mean, if he goes to, if he goes to the Warriors, if he goes to the Lakers, if he goes to a big-time contending team, then maybe, he has more of a resurgence there. But, I just thought that was interesting. So that's a guy that I really like, Aaron Gordon. It's just, we haven't seen really much out of his cards and just out of him in general. He is a good young player, but has he hit his potential yet? Well, I think that's something that is up for debate. All right, next up I've got Tyrod Taylor, the QB for the the Los Angeles Chargers. And the reason why he makes this list, first off, his cards just haven't had a whole lot of movement. He's not really talked about. He's kind of the forgotten QB in that division, as well as really the league. I'm not even sure if many people knew that Tyrod Taylor was starting. Well, I shouldn't say starting. We still have to go through, the preseason process, although there is no preseason. But, we'll see who the starters actually are. But right now, it looks like he's the front runner to start for the Chargers. So, if you look at his, I'm looking at 2011 tops, just different variations of that 2011 options, and PSA 10 or anywhere, and I'll put a screenshot up, anywhere from $29 to $43, and that's a graded card. I mean, the cost of the grade is $15 to $20. So just not really doing a whole lot, and like I said, Tyrod Taylor, he played for the Browns, kind of underwhelming for the Browns. And became a free agent. He's been moved around quite a bit. He played for the Bills. He's played for a few different teams, but he's not, he was a rookie in 2011. He's one of those guys that could be a late bloomer. Who knows? What do you guys think about Tyrod Taylor? Is this kind of is he a career backup, or is this guy a legitimate starter? Has he just not gotten the opportunity? I know in Cleveland he got the opportunity to start, but he didn't start for very long. And granted, they had Baker Mayfield kind of waiting in the wings, so that's kind of a tough position to be in if you're Tyrod Taylor, where they take Baker Mayfield number one. He's the future guy, and it turned out that he was that future came very quickly for Baker. So, I think that it's something where, I guess my question to viewership would be, is this guy not a legitimate franchise QB, or has he just not had the opportunity? I think that's a question with a lot of NFL QBs that are out there. There's a lot of talent at the QB level, in the NFL, but it's just, there's guys that are just hanging out there that, Josh Rosen, another example in Miami, has he had a clear shot? You have such a small window in the NFL to make an impact, it feels like, because there's always new QBs coming in every year. And it's just so competitive. It's so competitive. So what are your thoughts on Tyrod Taylor? Does he have a shot? Do you think he's actually even going to start for the Chargers? I'd like to hear that. And we will move on to the last player that I've got in this list. And this one stuck out to me because I was watching the Clippers-Lakers game the other night. Landry Shamet. So this is a guy that, young player, still got a career ahead of him. So who knows, where his career goes. But I was just watching that Lakers-Clippers game, and when Shamet came in, he was kind of invisible on the court, it felt like. And now, granted, he plays on arguably the best team in the NBA, top 3 team in the NBA, and the Clippers are very deep. That's a very deep team. So I'm not saying it's easy to stand out for the LA Clippers. That's a very, very good team. But, for him, I just don't know where he fits in there for the Clips. And, if you look at his base Prism PSA 10s are in that $35 to $45 range. Not a whole lot of movement. I think they've been there for a while. I haven't checked a bunch of data on it, but he's just kind of a guy that's just kind of lost. He was a guy before the season started. He was one that was talked about as kind of an up-and-coming player, and we just haven't really. Tell me if I'm wrong, but I just haven't seen much out of him. And just does he fit in? Now maybe it's something to where maybe I'm missing something before they suspended the season. Let me know. Maybe he was doing really well. Maybe I'm being too judgy after one game back against the Lakers, which is another very, very good team. Is it just me, or is Shamet not a fit for the Clips? Could he maybe be a better fit somewhere else? Because we just haven't really seen. He's not really talked about very much, and I'm just not sure, where he's going. So anyway, guys, what do you think about these? Let me know in the comments. I'd like to mix it up with you all. If you do follow this channel, I respond to the majority of the comments, unless it's something, that's just, if it's debate, great. If it's something that's, antagonistic or it's not appropriate, then I won't respond to it. But, if you want to debate or you want to kind of talk through these, or you have other ideas, I love to comment back and forth with viewership. So I appreciate you tuning in. We will talk to you again soon. Thanks, guys.